contest nice and early.
Two teams haven't met for over a year as well. It's been a while, round 21 last season. These two teams last met. And they've changed a lot since then, and it's already on. Vandenberg hits the deck. Umpire Brett Roseberry puts the ball in the air. Now we're underway. Gawn and Cruiser go at it. Down to Cripps immediately. Gets it out to Gibbs. Little floater wide, Doherty. Pack gets under it. Thomas will play his 200th game next week. 199 today, right short. And Everett, who was the late in, brought into the team this week, and there's been a late exclusion or two for the Blues. Gibbs goes inside and Buckley takes the mark. 45 out.
Beautiful kick from Gibbs, wasn't it? Just a low dart. Really hard to defend his team defence with that type of kick. Beautiful lead from Buckley. Good hands. This will be a really good start for Carlton. As we talked about, everyone's talking about Melbourne. Can they play in the finals? And Carlton would have heard that all week. They'll be keen to redeem themselves.
Stop this run of 9 losses in a row, and he goes straight into the man on the mark. Almost a free kick against him as the ball sails through for a goal.
They're going to see some early aggression from the Blues. He's an interesting player, young Dylan Buckley, and a couple of the Ds now going up to him. Bryce Gibbs gets involved. Dylan Buckley's been a running back pocket. He's been tried as a forward, now starting up on the wing. He's got exciting leg speed. If he can just improve those skills 5 or 10%, I think he becomes such a better player.
Have a look at him after he kicks the goal here. He just lets Thomas Bug know nice and early. And he's got one on the board, so really good start from the Blues.
That's okay, that shove. That's fine.
Yeah, it's
fine.
fine.
The man on the mark. That's good.
If it was head high, Dwayne, it would have been in trouble.
I'm pretty sure it was off the ball, to be honest. But anyway, we'll play on. Bug wrapped up, caught, dragged down.
If that's the case, though, we pay a free kick for every push and shove before the game starts, do we?
Well, we do if it's a tag, it gets dragged down 50 metres from where the ball is.
Lots of anomalies in our game, aren't there?
Oh, that's the beauty of it. Bug goes back to Jones, flicks it wide. Flicked away from Watts, hits the deck. Rowe, stolen, Petraka, Watts. Inside, Vandenberg protected, took the mark.
Again, a beautiful entry inside forward 50 from Jack Watts. He competed for the first one in a row, got a really good strong spoil, and Petraka got the ground level back to Jack Watts. Instead of blazing away, just lowered his eyes and hit Vandenberg up for a beautiful setup.
Plenty happening off the ball. It was Jack Viney and Simon White getting involved then. As you're seeing tempers fray a little early.
10 goals this year, Aaron Vandenberg. 13th game of the year. Virtually the same shot Buckley had.
Just stabbed at it.
You've got to kick those.
Paul Roos, will this be his second last game as an AFL coach? Or will he get a final or two? Wide ball, Hogan floats in, fist down. Wiedering tried to get away with it, couldn't. Handing over to Simon Goodwin at the end of this season. Paul Roos. It's been an epic career when you think of 356 games as a player, 8.5 seasons as Sydney coach, and the flag there, of course, as well. The drought breaker, Jones. Tyson, good smother. Simpson. Gibbs. Tried to dance his way around Viney. Didn't quite work. Vandenberg caught. Good pressure. And another good tackle. Is that Pryor? Did he try hard enough? Umpire says, yep. I'll have it and ball it up. Cruiser with the palm down. Cripps caught by Gawn. And Thomas almost missed his boot.
As we know, Cruiser's got a really big job today on Max Gawn. The informed ruckman of the competition, Max Gawn and Cruiser. He's had a solid season. Not as many injuries as the last 3 or 4, so we'll be keen to finish off the year well, Matty Cruiser.
Yeah, spot on. Every game but one this season, Matty Cruiser, and he could be a chance to be the Max Gawn for next year if he has a breakout year after getting some foundation laid this year. Tom McDonald kicks it long in hope. Hogan overcooked his attempt. Vandenberg at the back. No one came at him, and the seas parted for him beautifully.
Well, the kick wasn't great to Hogan, but the defence with Rowe and Wiedering, they actually followed Hogan under the ball. And as a defender, you need to keep the ball in front of you. It was a really good lead. You see Watts here and Hogan leading for the ball, Wiedering behind, but no one were able to get a purchase on the ball. When the ball spills over the back, doesn't matter how good you are as a halfback flank, as you see Zach Tui just laying off because he assumed the ball was going to go to the front, and Vandenberg read the play beautifully. That is a really good goal from Vandenberg. Bad defence from Carlton, though. Need to get the ball going forward.
Let's go, guys. Jump at the footy.
So the first two shots, Vandenberg, so a really good start from the half forward.
Gone with the palm down. Little handball flick back was good from Cunningham to get himself into the action. He's also one of those younger Carlton players that Blues fans are hoping grows into a genuine prospect in the coming years. They picked 23 a couple of years ago. Frost flicks it wide. Tyson. Danger, stretch, caught, rolled. Didn't get it away legally, holding the ball. Advantage paid, and the inside pass doesn't really work. Hunt tracks it down, kept it in front, got it to McDonald, to Oscar McDonald.
Well, I'd love to keep account of the number of players that are going to slip over today, Dwayne. There is a serious mud base underneath the grass, particularly on the wing that the ball's on now, and I reckon you'll see a lot of players slipping today.
Well, they were out there for 45 minutes warming up. You'd think they'd have a change of boots if they needed a bug.
A lot of them just don't like it.
Right, gets there. That's a splendid grab. He's got Everett inside for the short. Ignores it for a while and then waited and then gave it to him.
Yeah, really good composure. Great contested mark. Didn't blaze away, just got back off the mark and waited for something to present. Everett was on a little bit earlier, but he wasn't balanced, so really good pass into the forward line. We're seeing both teams at the moment just pinpointing passes instead of blazing away inside their forward 50.
He can get hot when he's on. Andreas Everett back into the lineup and back amongst the goals.
And straight into the man on the mark with a much subtler bump that time. Just a little reminder that I kicked the goal. Some good ball movement eventually. It was a poor switch up from the D's. And the good thing about Matty Wright is he's experienced enough to know what's a good option, what's a bad option. If he tried that little chip, there were players coming in that could have shut it down. There was plenty of space for Everett to work into. And importantly, Andreas Everett going back and completing the deal.
Tossed in the air this time, so it is a little wet out there. Gibbs takes off. And a bomb that's wide, right. Little nudge on Mitchie. Gets back onto it, finds some space, heads toward goal, and nails it.
Terrific start from Carlton. Another goal from centre clearance. So Gibbs, he's the man at the moment. He's had the 4 disposals. You can see Clayton Oliver just trailing in. He's got the job assigned to Bryce Gibbs today. Just gets the ball forward, and as we know, if you win a centre clearance, you've got a 1-on-1 inside your forward 50, and that's really good play. They've only had the 23 disposals of the Blues, and they've kicked 3 goals already, so less than 8 disposals per goal. That's efficient footy at its absolute best.
Well, he might have slipped over then, Jace, but Mitchie, no doubt, could not turn on the back of those boots that he's wearing. He was a little bit hesitant, didn't want to slip over.
Well, here's another one back into the lineup this week. Viv Mitchie's playing for his footy life every time he runs out there. Doesn't get a lot of games. He'll make the most of it when he does. Gibbs started.
He's on fire.
I like the way they started the Blues.
Absolutely, they believe big time. Thomas overruns it. And a little paddle towards the line will do. Mitchie sees it out.
Yeah, Bryce Gibbs is the man of the moment. He's had 3 clearances already, 5 disposals, so Oliver's got his hands full at the moment, Clayton Oliver.
Gawn and Phillips tie up this time. Gang tackling is good early from the Blues.
It's quite interesting now, just a bit of a changeover. I think Clayton Oliver's now gone to Cripps. So Tyson's gone to Gibbs.
Cripps third man up. Gibbs again, back to Cripps. and he bangs it in the cruiser direction.
Oh, this is really good football, Dwayne. This is contested footy at its absolute best at the moment. They win the clearances, 6-3. They get the ball moving quickly. They win the tackling. The contested ball is 16-8, all Carlton's favour. And I think Melbourne, they may be thinking of bigger things down the track, Dwayne, instead of worrying about right here, right now, winning the ball.
9th season for Matthew Cruiser, and you can see he's been injured so often, hasn't had a lot of shots in this spot or grounds throughout his injury-interrupted career. And he misses near side.
Well, that would have been their 4th goal for 5 entries, which would have been 80% goal scoring efficiency.
Great kicking.
Oliver.
It just gives you so many options when you can hit that 40-metre corridor kick.
It's wide, Gawn, but Tui dropped into the hole. Options in the middle. Buckley, Thomas, Gibbs about to be hunted down. Gets the kick away. Everett. Was he manhandled? It dropped into his lap in the end. Hit the deck. Frost. Tyson, he threw it away. Tom McDonald. Danger with everything they do. Brayshaw, a little 1-2. Gawn ducks in. Makes it a 1-2-3. Back inside. Oliver. Better movement now. They've got some space. Didn't want to go forward initially. He does go forward, Petraka, but he misses the target. And it's funneled out.
Jesse Hogan. Been down form a little bit of late. Just needs to keep presenting.
Gawn gets front spot on Phillips.
That's
Double
too easy.
palm down.
Well, Bryce Gibbs is the story at the moment, isn't he? Seven disposals, 4 clearances. He's had 2 inside 50s.
Gibbs gets another possession, if you like. It was a hit out to advantage. Mitchie wrapped up, good tackle, and dumped into the deck. Dispossessed. Sumner gets it out. Graham has some space outside of the boot. Danger. Frost read it well, but he fell. Everett wraps him up. Pretty much gone. He had his chance, and he blew it. And the hander. Buckley from 50. Kicks a monster.
Well, we spoke about the difference good kicking makes to a player's game and to a team's game. And that's what the Blues are doing at the moment. Just the foot skills, when you can finish off with a bit of polish. And Dylan Buckley's one player we've spoken about, just at times turns the ball over. He's got great endeavour, great enthusiasm. When he adds polish to his game, look at the impact it has on his team.
Another really good tactic that Brendan Bolton's employing. Just a couple of clearances in front of us, not centre clearances. Cripps is going up 3rd man up to Gibbs, and then Gibbs on that occasion, Jace, went 3rd man up to Cripps. So they're really aware of Max Gawn's dominance in the hit-outs. They've gone to school and just look for the 3rd man up. And what Melbourne need to do is counter-attack that to block those players.
Cripps does get it out. Phillips dumps it. Viney off the deck. They'll take anything they can get right now. The Demons. Curnow caught high.
Well, right now, when they play an extra tall, the Blues, it means that Neville Jetta is picking up Liam Jones. If he can't take a mark in the attacking 50 on Neville Jetta, he'll never take one.
Sumner's getting a bit of it. Heads wide to Casbolt. Play on. Not paid the
He
mark.
thinks he's marked it, Casbolt.
All got his arm knocked. One of the two.
He's looking around for the umpire. We just got to play to the whistle, unfortunately. He just assumed he marked it or got a free kick, but
Well, he took the clean grab, but then it was punched out of the hand.
but there was no whistle,
No.
so he had to be aware that the game was still in motion. That's why the ball got smothered in the end.
Down to Cripps. Sensational.
He rode him to Gawn.
Simpson bumped on the kick attempt, but it'll work if Jones can collect it. He's collected though. Jetta wrapped him up. Got a handball out. Simpson, a wobbler. Oh, it takes off, and he's gone, Bernie. Bernie was burnt big time.
Beautiful tackling pressure. Paul Roos looking bemused. They've gone to school on Max Gawn's dominance, because again, whether it's 3rd man up, they actually rove to Max Gawn's tap on that occasion. So the Melbourne midfielders at the moment, the clearances are 9-3, all Carlton's favour. So it's just the way they've gone into this game at the moment. It's been outstanding. 24 contested ball to 10 also. And this is their 8th inside 50 for their 6th scoring shot.
Late inclusion, Nick Graham, and that is a way to make your presence felt. Nothing would please the coach more than a defensive tackle and turnover in the attacking 50.
Hasn't kicked a goal all season. Still hasn't.
Not a particularly long kick of the ball, but a little close to the man on the mark.
Well, their neighbours, North Melbourne, don't normally like Carlton, but I'm tipping the North Melbourne players today will be happy with this start, Dwayne. And Brad Scott as coach.
Bernie Vince breathes a big sigh of relief after the last blunder. Kicks in. Danger again. No arm knock free. Shot at goal was from Cunningham. Didn't have the travel. Just bumped on the kick last second. Phillips stands under this, and Casbolt floats in front of Phillips with the protection.
And he's within range. If he wants to tee off, he's in range.
A beautiful call too, Dwayne. It was great protection from Phillips. Just kept Watts out of the marking situation there. And why wouldn't you when you've got one of the best contested mark players in the competition in Casbolt? But this is the hard part for him. It's an even spread, as you can see here, the set shot history.
In other words, could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't tell you how many he's missed that haven't scored as well. He got plenty on it, as expected, but as expected, didn't kick it.
Cameron Mooney, is there a light sprinkle coming down?
Look, it's not too bad at the moment, to be honest, Jason. We were expecting showers on and off for the rest of the day. It's quite warm down here, considering how bad the day really has been. But look, just from down here, I mean, just looking at Melbourne right now, I mean, they are second to the ball. We talk about those clearances, Spade, and you're right, they're reading it so well off Max Gawn's hands at the moment.
Oh. Sorry, Coons. Watts nearly bucked the ripper. Cruiser bangs it towards the boundary, really, even though it was meant for right.
No, Moons is spot on here. Look at the fly here from Jack Watts. They've only had 16 kicks, Melbourne. Now we're into the 16.5-minute mark of the first quarter. A kick a minute at the moment. They're just listless at the moment, the Melbourne
You
Footy
can
Club.
just see them being second to the ball down here at ground level. It's so obvious at the moment.
Cruiser with the double palm. Curnow, Gibbs, Buckley wreaking havoc. Goes inside and he turns it over. Jetta.
The disappointing thing for Melbourne too is this is off the back of two outstanding performances. They bowled over the Hawks comfortably, and then they went to Adelaide and beat Port Adelaide, which was a good win given the travelling circumstances. They're expected to back it up. You've got to put the effort in, week out. You can't pick and choose.
They haven't come to play today because they've only had 2 tackles. 2 tackles in 18 minutes of football. And as we know, Paul Roos type coaching, he's built his style around tackling.
Well, if Hogan can start finding it like that, they're a different team. He's got Watts out of the square. He spears it to the pocket instead. Vandenberg and Simpson. Strange one-on-one to go to. Jones, a wobbler. Petraka, the flick. Thomas, caught. Neil Bullen's got him, wrapped him up, and he dropped it. Umpire cuts him some slack because he was caught without prior. Oliver, Neil Bullen, and they do keep it alive, but getting back. A bouncing ball. Gee, waited. Not too sure why Wiedering waited. Now he's gone. Bug's got him. Gibbs lends a hand. Can't rush it behind there, of course. Graham. Maybe that's why he waited. Buckley's turned it over, though, to Frost. It's turned a little ugly. He clean missed his fist with a handball attempt. Graham ran into a jam. Arnfield nowhere to go. Simpson bangs it away. And it'll be coming back. It's on the full.
Well, it's better pressure from Melbourne. You can just sense the last minute they've tried to get some pressure on the ball carrier from Carlton. It's the first time they've been able to main and inside, get another entry inside their forward 50 repeat entries.
There's the launch. Buckley went the man again. Go the ball that time. Jones went the ball, gave it to Watts. The man that Buckley was trying to bump out of the contest. And we'll get a ball in, and the intensity has lifted at least from Melbourne.
Well, it needed to, there's no doubting that. But the clearances are still a concern. 10-3, and the contested ball 29-16, Carlton's favour. There's a third man up against.
When he left it behind, Cripps as well was there for him. Jones, Brayshaw, Mitchie, Jetta. He's within range from 50. Hit it a little wide. Neil Bullen sees a sail over his head and scrapes through for a behind.
Yeah, well, he second-guessed himself then, Dwayne, Neville Jetta. He looked at the option and thought out his teammate, Neil Bullen, but he's correct decision then was to run another couple of steps and just put it over the goal umpire's hat.
We've got an extra number out this side, the Blues.
Cripps and Doherty are there combining. Cripps protected him. Simpson made it a 3-on-3. Cruz is his target at half forward. Got a fist on it, knocked away from Watts. Jones, good tackle, ball spills. Buckley dragged down by Frost. Intensity has gone up.
No, there's no doubting that. No, the intensity's lifted. Just a couple of really good hard tackles there, Jace.
Yeah, you said they weren't tackling early. Their last few have been really good, and you can feel the frustration Melbourne supporters thinking they should have earned a free kick.
Curnow tried to squeeze the kick away. Jones. Not to go too long. Thomas.
Lucky Nathan Jones.
And so did Thomas in reply. Oliver. He slips. Watts feeds it back. Bernie Vince. Petraka. Jones. Better movement here. Got a few short pass options, or he can go for home. Hope it skids. He didn't get enough on it. Plowman.
He's put his hands in the air, Nathan Jones, to say, where's the target?
Spearing ball by White. Everett. Gibbs. Possession 10 coming up. Wiedering. Danced inside nicely. Didn't have a lot to go to. Rowe didn't really know if he wanted it or not.
At least he was aware of the pressure coming from behind, so he accelerated when he got it.
Hunt, who does like to gallop. Feeds it out wide.
Oh,
Getting back wide. And now they're out.
Well, 3-on-1 here. If they win the ball here, they're away, the Blues.
So Graham needs to have a cool head.
Oh, off the bench.
That's right, just off the bench. Kent, he made a contest, and Bernie Vince drags him down with a tackle. Kent keeps it alive for a split second.
Yeah, well, that interchange. Dean Kent actually saved a goal. You see him come off from the corner of the screen here. I'll straight up the bench there, Dean Kent.
That'd be nasty as a player. When you're focused on the ball, you think you've got space in front. You look up and the bloke's come charging off the bench and he's right in your face.
Cruiser and Gaunt. Cruiser nearly collected it and went. Jones in the thick of it as expected. Jones about to set it up. He flicks the handball over the top to Watts. Neil Bullen. Hogan in the pocket. He goes shorter.
It's a nothing kick.
Wiedemann was leading, but I'm not sure it was a real lead. It was kind of a space opening up dummy move. Expecting the kick to go over his head.
Well, I think the reason he didn't kick long was that they had a spare back, the Blues. The problem was there was no short option either. So he was in a bit of a quandary. You can see the spare there, top of screen. So it was very, very difficult for him to bomb away, and he didn't really have a lead-up option.
Two young guns battling, Wiedemann and Wiedering, side by side. Stretch. Watts. Gone. Watts. Hogan out wide. This time he heads in that direction, and he takes another good grab. His hands are on. Oh, looks of things today.
Yeah, it's a really good grab, but if you're going a little forward, mark the ball. It's exactly where you want him to mark it.
Sits it up for Big Maxi. Knocked to the ground. Casbolt lends a hand in defence.
They're running it out well, the Blues.
Plowman, Simpson, Plowman, Gibbs. Stolen by Tyson. Not sure if he called, but it went straight to him. No Pryor as he's rolling the tackle, ball up.
Well, both teams have to run the ball out. You can't bomb the ball long because we've got an extra player behind the ball from each team. So if you just blaze away from this clearance, it's going to go to an outnumbered situation. That's why they need to chain out.
Gibbs does some more ruck work to Cripps, who's done his fair share. Gibbs kicks smothered. Viney through the congestion. Kent scoops it up. Tyson.
Well, there's the extra. Simpson's the extra for Carlton. That's what we're talking about. You have to really make sure you have a look around and see where the extra man is. And at that occasion, Carlton hit Simpson.
Jack Watts very slow to get up.
Yeah, and the ball in the middle went straight past him, but it's 17 on 18 right now. Jones and Frost, big fist. Jones played for the second grab. Mark didn't get it. Casbolt runs into Jones, runs into a whole lot of trouble. Buckley, bang! He hit a brick wall. Jones pumps it back inside 50. It's wide. And it's almost on the full. It was touched by Wright.
Well, Jack Watts coming off the ground. Looks okay.
Let's have a look here.
Oh, he got poked in the eye by Cripps. So accidental, of course. Hopefully he'll be okay.
Cripps, who stayed down that time, wasn't third man up. Cruiser straight up the chimney. Pumps his own ball away. Right, left it. Graham. Sidestep was good. Goes outside.
What a hit.
Missed his target. Kent.
Trouble now.
Frost.
Real
Bullen. And he pumps that wide to Hunt. He can get and go. He collects. He sees it's Casbolt. He puts the jets on. Says, I've got you covered. And drives it through. Kicks one of the goals of the year.
Oh, beautifully called, Wayne. You just sensed the last 3 or 4 minutes that Melbourne have got their hardness back, their tackling pressure, and the kick from Carlton out of the forward 50. It went the other way, and when it into the target, all the momentum was with Melbourne on this occasion. You can see here, they're actually going away from goal, and it didn't hit Liam Jones.
It's a dangerous kick.
Dangerous kick, but as we know, Jaden Hunt, the boy from Brighton Grammar, a former tennis player, great athlete, and have a look at this.
You know what I love, Spud, is he actually turned around, he saw who it was, and even though he was only 2 metres behind, he said, you know what, Levi? I've got you covered, my friend, and away he went.
Yeah, it was a beautiful goal, wasn't it? And they've evened up the clearances. The last 5 minutes, the clearances are 5-1 in Melbourne's favour.
From the restart. Danger now for the Blues here. They've owned the quarter, and they still own the lead, but they don't own the momentum. Simpson wrapped up, dragged down by Stretch.
I think the Melbourne players at ground level are aware that Gibbs and Cripps are going third man up, so there's been a lot of blocking off the ball, which is a really good sign from the young Melbourne midfield.
Good collect by Oliver,
And
full
good
stretch
hands,
to Tyson.
On your natural foot, got to be better than that. That's just a hook around the corner. So Jack Watts just getting tidied up. May have been a little bit of blood by the looks of it.
Yeah, he's just been in the hands of the trainer since he's come off, obviously, boys. There's that poke in the eye. Seems to be okay now. I don't think he'll be too long until he's back out.
Cameron Mooney, three-time premiership star on the boundaries. This one heads toward the boundary and just touched out.
Well, it's been Gibbs, Simpson and Cripps. Gibbs with 13, Simpson on the half-back line with 9, and Cripps with 9. Cruz has been holding his own too with Max Gawn, so you'd say that'd be a win against Maxi Gawn.
Cripps again, left free. Sold that one nicely. Armfield. Casbolt. Mitchie gets back with McDonald. McDonald, good grab.
That's 8 clearances between 4 each, the Gibbs and Cripps.
He danced his way around Buckley as well with some arrogance. Thumps it in the Brayshaw direction. Didn't quite get to him. Good tackle laid though. And Neil Bullen helps him hold it in. Some young stars in this lineup. The Demons. And it's been fantastic to see them blossom, especially over the last month. Gawn knocks it down. Gibbs wing tackled and dragged down. No prior.
We can see Gibbs just roving to Max Gawn, then Vane. And the last thing Carlton need is a late goal to Melbourne. As you said, the last 7 or 8 minutes, Paul Roos will be a lot happier with their effort around the ball.
Gawn slaps it down. Graham dumped it as he was caught. Bugged somehow. Tyson, stretch, missed his target. Danger now for the Demons. Everett got it off right. Armfield from 50. And he wastes it. Although, ball in better than a behind.
That's massive let-off for Billy Stretch. You just cannot afford to miss a hand pass when he really wasn't under much pressure around the stoppage.
Virtually 4 ruckmen around it. And Cripps again read it. Squeezed the kick away.
Well, it's been the Cripps and Gibbs show, really. That's 9 clearances between those two lads. Cripps with 5, Gibbs with 4. So 9 between them. Melbourne collectively have had 10.
Melbourne could have had him, of course, Patrick Cripps. They took Christian Salem 4 picks ahead of Carlton taking Cripps. Bernie Vince again in some trouble. Kent now in some trouble. Buckley, who started brilliantly, to set this one up. Fed back to Gibbs. Nothing to go too long. Shorts it. Fist from Hunt, but he clean missed the Sharon. Casbolt almost clean missed it as well. Frost collects, and they dodge a bullet. Bug got it from Mitchie. 40 seconds left, and the float in nice from Tui.
Reads the play well too, and you know he's a beautiful kick.
And Simpson to reload them. Last roll of the dice for the Blues.
Oh, beautiful.
A little double grabber for Everett, just protecting it. And he'll have the last say of the quarter.
Well, 13 entries for 8 scoring shots. They've just dominated the inside 50s, the way they've been able to work the ball through that extra man in Simpson.
He's had 4 kicks today, Andreas Everett, kicking at 100%. One was a shot for goal, went straight through the middle, so should be confidence up.
Right on the siren, and he wastes it.
Kicked it off about 2 steps.
Could have been a lot further in front, the Blues, but they've started well. Melbourne playing to keep their finals dream alive.
Scoring from clearances.
Jesse Hogan, you can just see right of screen, starting on the back of the square and tearing into the middle.
From the restart, second term underway. Gibbs dives in, starts the second as he played in the first, getting a possession and getting it forward. Casbolt jumps in. Thomas slips at the worst possible time, and putting the Jets on is Brayshaw. Got away from him, got it to half forward. Wiedemann couldn't mark it. Rowe. Graham, after Doherty had a piece of it, heads to Arnfield. Hunt shuts him down. He had the closing speed. Stretch. Gawn. Frost. Hunt, if he's good enough. Tough kick to gather.
2 speedsters playing on each other, Arnfield and Hunt.
And Sumner's one of those players who's changed his boots at quarter time. So he gets a free here. He had the coloured boots on in the opening term. He's been wise enough to change. Thumps it towards Jones at half forward. Jones free.
Well, what Paul Roos is trying to do with Hogan, Jace, off the back of the square. But gee, if I'm Wiedering, I'm happy with Hogan playing at the clearance.
And the other thing is, he ran straight past it, and it was up for grabs. He needed to stay defensive side of it as a
just
protector.
Assess. Just assess to see what happens.
McDonald got it, and another high one. Not paid. Kerno bends it around the body.
He's obviously deemed that he either played for it or ducked into it, but it actually didn't look like it, did it? We're lucky.
Let's have a look.
We see a replay. Well, no, he actually grabbed the hand. So the hand was right next to his face, but he grabbed him by the hand. That's a great decision by the umpire.
It was lucky it was the hand.
That was fantastic.
Wasn't an easy decision to make either for the umpire.
Jetta wide in bright sunshine. Hogan got a hand on it. Hits the deck. Kerno to Gibbs. Caught. Flicks it back. Cripps, an outstanding first term. Throws the handball Sumner's way. Beaten for it. Hunt wants to go, but Buckley shut him down.
Great
Brilliant
pressure.
tackle. And Jones drags it down. No free. No reward.
Kick.
Well, the umpire put his whistle to his mouth and put it away.
Melbourne player in a lot of trouble off the ball. I think it's Tom McDonald, is it?
Keep an eye on that. It could be Kent. He's down.
Kent it is.
Stretch takes off in the meantime. So it's 17 on 18 right now. Short pass. Wiedemann. He's in a lot of pain.
Yep.
Yeah, he is.
Hogan at half forward. Rowe with him. Hogan got hands on it. Hit the deck. Plowman ducked out of it. Simpson. 8-metre pass to Kerno. Good feed.
The ball's going to come down in a minute. It's coming straight to him.
And Doherty launches. Now he's hobbling here, so it's not a head injury, so that's why they've allowed play to keep going. He's going to hobble off. Is Kent. Had it been a head injury, they would have stopped it.
Starting to get some movement into it now.
I reckon he's got a massive cork, a really massive cork.
Oh, yeah, he's...
the buttocks.
The buttocks landed on top of his thigh. You're right, Jace.
Got a massive
on
cork.
the right leg. Well, cool.
Was it the thigh, or did he land on his knee? He's hyperextended the knee a bit.
I think it might have been the thigh.
Yeah, he's holding the thigh. The way he's running.
It's been a long hop, skip and jump to get off. And Sumner this time claimed he got caught high by Jetta. Again not paid. Umpire circling. Cooked. Holding the ball.
Yeah, well, that's justice, Dwayne, because Liam Jones put a really good tackle on about a minute ago.
Yep.
And they didn't get rewarded, so it's evened itself out.
And the other Jones not happy. Nathan Jones telling the umpire he doesn't agree with it. And in the meantime, one of the big future stars of the competition.
Yeah, him and Cripps and Gibbs, the start of this game, been outstanding. Gee, the 6'3" midfielder.
Possession 13 from the 50. Got plenty on it.
Look at that.
That's delightful. That's top shelf from the start.
No, you're right, Dwayne. we throw that word around loosely at times, but gee, the Carlton Football Club have got an absolute ripper here in Cripps. You just see the free kick. It was too high. Garlop there, then Jones gets the ball.
Dived on it.
As soon as you drag it in, as soon as you drag it in, if you don't get it out, it's all over.
You cannot complain about that free kick, Spud.
No, you can't. And what about the finish, though? You just sensed Cripps thought, well, I'm just going to go back and slot this for the team because we've been dominant. They deserve this lead at the moment, the Carlton Football Club.
Gave it the double cobra too. He's been in the gym looking in very fine nick, young Patrick Cripps.
Why wouldn't you? 13 possession opening to this game.
4 of the top 5 ranked players on the ground, the Blues.
4 minutes into the second term, and he has led them.
So we said there needed to be a response from the Melbourne midfield. It hasn't come yet.
Phillips down. Curnow tried to shrug it, did shrug it. Give it to half forward. Gibbs again, the collect. Flicks it out. Mitchie, good hands. Jones. Oscar McDonald. Stretch, had to do just that. Feeds it back to Oscar McDonald. Doesn't quite get away from Arnfield. Pressure on Mitchie. Now a chance for Stretch again.
Really good pressure from Carlton.
And they combine to mess it up, to get it out and reward the Blues with their tackling pressure there.
And that's been one of the strengths of Melbourne the last month, has been able to counter-attack from this area of the ground, and Carlton been able to hold the ball in. They were doing this on their run of 6 wins and 7 losses. Maintain the forward 50 and hold it in.
Sumner, right spot, right time. Hands it off. White spears that pass. Casbolt can't half volley it. Back into the centre though. Good spot to be. White couldn't get through the traffic. Caught. Brayshaw wraps it up.
It just appears to the naked eye at the moment there is a much greater urgency about the Blues than there is about Melbourne.
Yeah, this is not the Melbourne team we saw beat Hawthorn here 2 weeks ago.
55-34, the Blues are leading contested possession. That's a team that wants the footy.
Yeah, that's a smacking. That is an absolute smacking with that stat. That's work rate and desire.
Viney nearly threw that away as well. He's back in. It's an 8-metre kick. Left behind, Arnfield. Simpson. Gibbs. Cruiser stands under this, holds his ground, and then fumbled it. Vandenberg.
Did all the hard work, Cruiser.
Tom McDonald.
Oh, Loopy
Oscar McDonald. Cripps. Viney. Just got it away in time. Cripps is having a sensational day at the office. Caught. Stretch dragged down. And Cruiser tried to barrel his way away, but Vandenberg plucked it from his grasp. Jetta thumps it towards the wing. Wiedemann and Wiedering.
Yeah, too strong. The kick wasn't used to advantage, but really good mark from Wiedering.
Right. And they're out here.
Yeah, they're controlling things, the Blues.
White with some space. Curnow. He's got options aplenty. Which one does he want? He pokes it towards Jones. Nearly pulled down the one-hander. Still in the area, though. They can't get it away. Now Oliver can. Jones. Watts. Hunt. Vandenberg. Nothing to go too long.
Yeah, good vision.
Hogan in a ton of space. No one in the square. Time to steady. And blows it.
He is really out of sorts, Jesse Hogan, at the moment. Really out of sorts.
And Rose letting him know too, Jose.
And he was lucky he didn't give away a free kick there.
Yeah, frustration creeping in.
So he needs a lift as well. Has high expectations of himself, just not quite meeting them at the moment.
3 disposals at the moment for Hogan.
Curnow putting together another pretty good year for a guy who played his first 50 games off the rookie list. Just keeps on keeping on. Casbolt. Never a doubt on his hands. Everett. Through the middle. So Simpson looks up.
Out at the back, just got to kick it long.
Kick it.
Jones is in the square. He goes short in the end. Not a bad option. Cripps.
He played on.
But he didn't take a step.
No, he should be 50. Because he came from in front of the mark, McDonald, to try and smother that.
It's interesting. Did McDonald actually take a step, though?
No, but Cripps didn't, did he?
No, he didn't.
He didn't go over the mark.
And I don't think.
To me, the call's either play on or 50 metres.
Well, let's see.
Let's see where McDonald comes from. So McDonald's behind him in the protected area. He can't come from there. That should be 50 metres. And Cripps told the umpire that too.
Correct weight.
Gives it some air and it's wide.
So that's a miss when it should have been a certain goal to the Blues.
Yep. Yeah, you have to take your step, but it normally has to be ahead of the mark or sideways. You can't get called to play on just for thinking about it or faking. Long bomb. Hogan, White, Petrarca, dumped. Phillips, White, Arnfield, and they're out again. Everett in space. Double change coming up on the bench for the Blues, so has to wait. Cripps held off the ball. Cruiser jumps at it. Jones feeds it. Arnfield. And it rolls its way to the boundary line.
Just have a look at the stack of boots down on the boundary line for those that want to change. So there's a variation of stops. Some of them are a little longer. Not the old traditional long screw-ins that we used to have in the olden days, but you can see some of the flatter, shorter ones and then the longer, pointier ones.
Well, they're the ones that Sumner changed. He had the yellow boots on earlier. Cripps gets a kick away, and here's Sumner on cue with the new boots.
Great segue, but it's that man again, Cripps. He's absolutely on fire. He can do no wrong. He's coming off the ground for a well-earned spell. He's the man that wins his clearance. Groves it off Max Gawn's tap again. And just the strength to stay up in the tackle to get the ball going forward. Gee, that's talent. Have a look at the strength of Cripps here in the tackle. That is just magnificent play from a midfielder at the top of his game.
Interesting also that all the D's defence was drawn in around the ball. A lot of teams you'll find drop one out, have a sweeper on the goal line in that instance. Nowhere to be seen.
He started the quarter extremely well again. Carlton clearance is 5-1 at the start of the second quarter.
Cruiser climbs high. And the Blues' confidence sky high. Curnow dragged down. Saw Cripps having a rest.
Well, what it does...
Well, he needs a rest. At the moment, Spud, we've got Cripps and Gibbs have had 33 possessions and 11 clearances. They're smashing the Melbourne midfield.
Yeah, Melbourne have only had 10 between them. And what it does is deflates Melbourne because they're normally relying on Gawn to get them the ball, and Carlton is sharking it.
Good grab by Frost.
Good hands.
Bryce Gibbs thumped another one inside 50.
It's a feather in the cap for Max Gawn, but now they have to do a different tactic here in Melbourne.
Frost, Brayshaw. Little 1-2, almost turned over. Brayshaw.
There's not a lot of forward
Vince.
thrust in this passage of play.
Tyson, and it works to their favour. Brayshaw, options down the middle. Jones, good hands. Beyond his range and knows it.
Jones on his, Hogan on his own.
And Hogan in the pocket has got it. Tough angle coming up.
Just go back and kick the goal.
Oh.
He gets 10 metres here. Just work your way through it.
Will he go left foot round the corner or the banana?
I'll just go left foot around the corner and just walk out.
I think he's a banana boy, this one, guys.
He looks like he's holding it for the banana, doesn't he? He is.
A skip step, a banana, and his confidence might be back after that.
Yeah, well, I was surprised he was going to try and handball the ball because with the new 10-metre area, protected area around the mark, you just think your way through it, and it's quite easy to get that angle. And he's actually going over to congratulate Nathan Jones. You can see Plowman here just get gravitated towards the ball.
But why did he point to the pocket and lead there when he was back in the goal square? Why not just call it straight where he was in front of the goals?
Yeah, it's a very, very good call.
It's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Geez, a much-needed goal from Melbourne, though. They worked it well through the back half. Jack Watts into the ruck on Cruiser now. Gawn having a spell.
Cripps just coming back onto the ground, guys, just heading straight down into the forward line.
And there's that corker you talked about with Kent trying to warm it up, but that's going to take some warming. Time in the forward half numbers there as Gibbs gets another possession. Tom McDonald takes the mark. Got his way around Casbolt.
Got numbers in the middle, can run as long as they just hit targets by hand, and they miss again.
Petrarca couldn't trap it. And we'll chip off the deck from Cunningham. Might still work. Through to his hands.
It's hard to watch.
Ugly passage like that. Not a minute for the time capture. We'll get a ball up. Paul Roos. Can he resurrect them today to help keep this resurrection of their season going? They win today. It all comes down to the last round of the home and away season as to who makes the 8. Tyson.
Beautiful kick.
Centering kick, and Wiedemann.
Good grab.
The mark.
Really good attack on the ball there from Wiedemann.
He plays on quickly.
Clever.
Vandenberg.
Clever.
That's really good forward play, isn't it, Jace?
Yeah.
You know, a young player, you excuse him for going back and thought, I've taken a good contested mark, I'll go back and have a shot at goal. But he quickly got back off the mark and had a look around and assessed and saw Wiedemann on his own.
I reckon unless you're the best kicker in the team, and I haven't seen enough of him to know that, a goal assist is as good as a goal to someone else. But if you're the best kicker in the team, you probably say, well, I'll take the responsibility because I know my success rate is better than anyone else.
So it'll be for 2 in a row for the Demons. Vandenberg's already got 1.
Oh,
He sprays it out to the side, and there's no Demon on the goal line. So there's
that's inexcusable.
barely made the distance.
Yeah. Well, he did. Well, he did in the end.
Didn't kick through it. You'd be worried if you're a Melbourne supporter right about now.
Doherty wide. Casbolt and Hunt. Casbolt had a good piece of it. Towed away. Oliver. Bug.
Now, it starts with the contested ball, as you alluded to, Jay. 65 now to 43. Yep. So, let's have a look at the last kick.
Just off the outside of the boot.
He didn't get flushed, did he?
Cruiser works his way to the front. The double-handed pat. Tyson. Brayshaw tried to feed it out. Gibbs. He's got his own Sharon. Curnow. Plowman. Go back and get that. Curnow again. He's got Tui out wide. He turns it over. Jetta. Players screaming for it in the middle.
Just on his distance range.
And Bernie Vince couldn't get back off the mark quickly enough. No free paid to Petrarca. Demon fans starting to scream now. They're not going to get the rub of it by screaming. Petrarca outside of the boot.
Well, Dwayne, it's the fundamentals. You look at Bernie Vince, you've actually got to get back off the mark further. It's okay to get the ball moving quickly, but the man in the mark's not going to move. So it's just the fundamentals that Paul Roos will be laying down to his team at half-time. And the first one's got to be started at the coalface to win the contested ball.
Jetta drops in the hole. With the last 3 scoring shots, short, and that'll work. Oliver.
That's 50.
And given the 50, Plowman plowed into him.
Yeah, he's going to walk him back. Come on down to the goals. Yeah, it's just inexcusable from Plowman. It was late. There was nothing in it, Jace.
Was he involved with another Melbourne player though? I'm keen to have a look at that again. It didn't look malicious after he kicked the goal.
No, it wasn't malicious, but it was late.
Yeah. Just wonder if there was a contributing factor with another player.
I don't think so. I just think it was late from Plowman.
2 in a row for Melbourne, and they're on the way back.
That hurts.
So we have a look here. You'll see Plowman coming past.
That's all it was. He had no need to do it.
He was running, following Neil Bullen on the lead, and in the end, he's just trying to pull up. I actually feel for him because he had to follow his opponent on the lead.
Well, the facts are, scores from turnovers. That's where Melbourne are getting back into the game, and that's where Carlton's letting themselves down, because by foot, Carlton are winning enough of the ball. They're going to 55% by foot. Melbourne 66%. So 3 more goals from turnovers that Melbourne have got back into this game. So Carlton need to control the footy better.
Bernie Vince heads to half forward. It's starting to work for them. Petrarca thumps it, top of the square. Watts is about to fly, got hands on it. Can bring it down. Vandenberg, Big Maxi. Can he get it on the boot?
Max!
Gone!
Holding the ball.
Gone!
You know what the problem was? He was in Vandenberg's way.
He was.
Vandenberg could have run straight into an open goal, and the ruckman was in as well.
Carlton still turning the ball over here again, though.
Arnfield hands and knees. Jones got it out. Bernie Vince struck it pretty well, but wide.
Yeah, Big Maxi's...
So this is how you turn a certain goal into a nothing.
Max actually should have looked for the shepherd, shouldn't he?
You should have got out of the way.
Yeah.
Just let him kick the goal.
Roosy, have a look at the very bemused Paul Roos.
Everett towed it off the
good.
deck and then thumped it toward attacking 50. Didn't quite work for him. Oscar McDonald to Jetta. Tyson. Big 7 minutes coming up here. Been a momentum swing. Demons have kicked the last two. If you just joined us, Oliver goes back to go forward. Tyson. Wiedering left it behind. Rowe in some trouble. Viney tried to go off the deck. Wiedering, slick hands.
That was great hands from ground level Wiedering. Well done, Tom McDonald.
Got there and thumped it away from Everett.
If they keep possession there, they've got extra forwards ahead of the ball. That saved a goal, Tom McDonald, leaving his man and going to affect the spoil. This is Wiedering's quick hands. Very good.
He's going to be a great player, isn't he, Wiedering? You've got a key position player picking up the ball at full tilt off your ankles.
Oh, Maxi, that's as good as a kick.
He's getting frustrated, Big Max. He thought, I'm sick of the Carlton players roving to my hit out, so I'm going to go whack.
Watt's given an eternity. Oliver goes inside. Bug, he's within range. He had Jones inside, just the required 15, and that's it.
Clever kick.
It was a clever kick. It really was, and that's the modern game. Instead of just getting the ball to the top of the square to an outnumbered situation, really good composure.
And this for 3 Melbourne goals in a row.
Yeah, well, Carlton have fallen on their own sword, Dwayne. Their ball use the last 10 minutes has let Melbourne Football Club back into this game of footy.
And he misses to the near side. Hard to believe. Tui.
Plays on a lot from the goal square. You've got to be aware of it.
Cruiser and gone. Phillips, third man into it. Bernie Vince tripped. And the Demon fans celebrate a free kick. Sun shining. Beautiful afternoon now for football. Bernie Vince didn't get a lot on that. Touch play on. It was touched on the way through. Tyson bends it around.
Post. 2 goals, 6 in the second quarter for Melbourne Football Club.
Thomas. Cripps.
This is where they've let themselves down in this quarter, Carlton. Just the turnovers around this area of the ground.
Gibbs. Curnow turned back inside. Cripps half held. Knocked away from him. He knocks it back out to Bryce Gibbs. He's caught high. Won himself a free.
I thought he did everything he could to avoid that, Jeddah. He tried hard, didn't he?
He certainly did.
He was about to run into him. He stopped. He tried to get out of the way. Not sure there was that much in it.
Disposal 24 for Bryce Gibbs.
He's got his own footy.
It's a reasonable half.
Yeah, it's a fair half.
Cripps danced his way around Jones.
This guy as well.
Bounces it inside 50. Everett the collect. Gave it up to Arnfield. Didn't hit it well. Clean bowled McDonald, but rolls through for a behind.
Yeah, you've got to make the most of your half chances as a half forward. Wasn't his best there, Dennis. It's been a while since it's been in Carlton's forward 50.
There's 2 kicks in it. Hogan and Rowe.
Yeah, that's a really good contested mark.
He's got to love how early he used his body there, did you guys?
Yeah, it was really good work, wasn't it, Moons? Just protected the drop zone beautifully.
He does stuff with his body that you think he's been in the game for 6 or 7 years.
Gawn, good hands.
Tell you what, Sammy Rose just had his jumper shredded by Max Gawn.
Just the big guns for Melbourne. Just starting to get a bit of the ball, isn't it? Hogan, Gawn, Jones.
It was Tui's, but he left it behind. White goes back to Curnow. Hasn't got a lot on. White.
It's really just a case of who's going to make the least, who makes the least mistakes, and who can actually take their opportunities that can get a handle on this game. Got some issues, hasn't he, with the right knee?
I think that was a contact with Gibbs too, by the way, guys.
It was, Moons.
Let's hope it's just a knock. Nothing structural.
12 points the margin, closest they've been since the opening term. Oscar McDonald thumps it but sits it up. The leapers go up. No one attempts to mark. All fists. Stretch lays a tackle on Armfield.
Here's where Jeddah hurt his right thigh. Might have been just a corky as well, hopefully, or his knee did straighten, didn't it?
Yeah, did he hyperextend it?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Nudge out. Free kick, Cruiser.
Carlton just need to get another goal, I reckon, for the momentum and the way they've dominated this game. But if it goes back the other way and they only go in 6 points up and Melbourne get a goal in this last 3 minutes, it would really hurt.
Bryce Gibbs corralled.
25 to Gibbs.
Hunt. Well, clean bowled a lot of them. Hunt, good turn.
Dennis didn't go at the man or the ball there, Dennis Armfield.
Oliver to Mitchie, dangerous, but fortune favours the brave. Tom McDonald, after getting it from Brayshaw, back to Jones. Tyson. Tom McDonald. Now Jones has just come off the bench for the Blues. Hunt. And he steps in. Drills one. Petrarca his target. Reached away from Cripps. Still alive for Simpson. Tui. Thomas. Phillips. Curnow. Just knocked away from his grasp.
You could see he was trying to go in there. He overplayed his abilities there, Phillips.
Tyson thumps it up. Gawn's playing out of full forward. Watts is down there as well. Watts gathers. Wants to come inboard. Centering kick. Delightful kick. Just through Wiedemann's hands. Still a chance to mob it up. Went to ground. Jones, who probably owes them one, hunted down. Big tackle, Doherty.
They're away here, Melbourne. Well done from Dennis Armfield not playing on because he looked up. There's no one to go to.
Umpire waved him on then.
He said you have to go. The half took off.
And he didn't really want to go, so they play on almost to their disadvantage, the Blues. Buckley to Jones. Heads to half forward. No, there was an arm slap free in the end.
Beautiful kick. Vince asking why. Well, the umpire was right on the spot. He had hands on it. I think it was a chop in the arms. As all defenders still ask the question of the umpire. Didn't seem a lot in it, to be brutally honest, but the umpire was probably in the right spot.
So still hasn't kicked a goal, Dwayne? You said earlier when he missed one?
Not this year.
Not this year.
5 career. Couple of skip steps. Starts to sail.
Not good off the boot.
And he's got it. First of the season.
No, that's a really good goal. They deserve this lead now. Carlton Football Club. The last thing they need to do is switch off the last 42 seconds and nip Melbourne. Let's have a look. Oh, that's not a free kick. I just had a look at that again. It was a chop of the shoulder. Have a look at Bernie Vince's right arm. It doesn't hit the arms. It hits his shoulder and bicep. It's not a chopping of the arms. No wonder Bernie Vince was having an answer to the question of the umpire. Looking at that again, that was a lucky goal for Carlton in the end because that was a really good body spoil from Bernie Vince. Just spoiled the top of right shoulder.
Back out with 3-goal margin, some breathing space again. Seconds left. Gibbs, Everett, Curnow caught, didn't get his handball away. Manufactured a kick. Mitchie outside of the boot, that didn't work.
Still got time here, Carlton. I think what happened after that goal, Brendan Bolton put a couple of players behind the ball and said the 3-goal lead will take that, and that's why Carlton now have to just possess the footy because they're going forward to an outnumbered situation.
And it was wise of Cunningham to play to that rule if that was the directive.
Yep.
So 7 seconds left.
A very honest first half from the Blues, but I'd love to be in the D's rooms listening to Paul Roos talk to his players.
Season's still alive for Melbourne. If they win today, it'll come down to the last round of the home and away season, but they need to get back up off the canvas. 18 points the margin here at 3/4 time. 7-8 to 4-8. 50 plays 32, and it's not quite going to plan for Melbourne. Cam Mooney.
No, it's been a really good game.
Out. And we'll have a quick chat before we take a quick break here, but it's been a phenomenal performance by the Blues to come back from 9 losses in a row to put this on the board to half-time against one of the
game, and they need to really start dominating the middle of the ground and start getting their hands on the footy. Otherwise, as I said earlier in that first quarter, Carlton are just going to run away because they are dominating around the ball.
Blues lead by 14 at quarter time. They lead by 18 now. Second half underway. Oliver Almost got away with it. Cruiser thought about going off the deck. Viney thumps it. Watts and Hogan.
Oh!
Watts will do.
But how did that fall in?
I'm not sure he knows.
Well, he was against Rowe. I mean, that's a good contest. One-on-one. He didn't look to have position, and at the last minute, he freed up his hands. That is a terrific mark from Jack Watts.
Yeah, if he had tried to mark it on his chest, Jace, he would have dropped the ball. And you're right, to mark it in the hands
In the wet.
with a slippery ball, the degree of difficulty of that was 9.9.
And he's got some good numbers from this spot, all grounds.
Just a matter of how accurate it will be.
To a hush. And he slips it to the near side and misses.
That's what happens when you stab and kick off a couple of steps. His follow through. He was actually turned 45 degrees to the goals when he finished, because he kicked across it, and in the wet, that's just going to slide off the outside of the boot. It's a really poor miss. Would have been the perfect start for the D's.
It's a horrific miss. Simpson towards Cruiser, McDonald, Casbolt. They all float in. Gone. Bernie Vince to the pocket. And there's that big fist. Rowe thumps it into the third row.
And it's got heavier yet again. It's now starting to hose down. So this is going to be very simple footy. Get the body behind the ball, get the ball going forward, nothing fancy.
Yeah, surge mentality now.
Which makes it even harder when you that 3-goal break's the equivalent of probably 5 or 6.
Clayton Oliver's doing a lot of body work on Cripps, but I suggest his best form of body work would be when the ball comes off the ruckman's hands. Don't worry about it now. Get your body in line with the ball and try and win the ball.
Yeah, it's bucketing down now. Blues fans, if you've just tuned in, no Silvani, no Kerridge. They were both late withdrawals today. Curnow just out of the reach of Casbolt. Jones takes off, heads inside, sits it a little. Big fist from Frost. Got it down to Hunt. Towed it past Frost. Danger. Casbolt stalking it. Jones flicks it out. Bryce Gibbs had an awesome first half. Gave it to Daisy Thomas. Well, that was his moment for Daisy, and he blew it.
Well, he could have chipped it over to Sumner. He had two options, kick the goal or hit Sumner. So we've had a bad miss at both ends to start the third term as it gets yet heavier again. Absolutely bucketing down. Goals are going to come at a premium, and both teams have missed golden opportunities early.
Especially when you're at a quiet game such as Daisy Thomas. You need to make the most of your opportunities.
Hogan goes up, got a hand on it, knuckled away. Kent injured in the opening half. He's up and running now. Plowman gets back. Good contest, knocked down. Wiedering, Tui, and it continues to pump down. Heads wide to Everett.
Well, you wouldn't want to have Mold Souls on now.
Oh, it's a poor attempted tackle. That was too easy. Tyson just got brushed off. Had an opportunity to put some real pressure on.
And now Doherty hits Thomas, who can go. Has some space, needs to use it wisely. Simpson, not a bad man to give it to. Jones off the outstretched chest. Jones knocked it to Jones with a 1-2 with Hogan. Back to Hogan. Frost, it's ugly. And he's caught high, and he's not caught high to ball up.
I know Kate Simpson was trying to hit the short target there, but there was a lot of yardage over the top of Liam Jones, and with the ball and the weather such as this, yardage and territory is everything.
In the congestion again. Jones back to Oliver. Hands free. Flicked it back. Frost caught by the Blues. Jones through Thomas. Let it go. Gawn just spanks it to half forward. Hogan dies. He's got Watts screaming for it. He's up. Wiedemann got a knuckle on it, knocked it down.
No crummers.
Wiedering, trapped by Kent, still alive, slippery ball. Wiedemann, Watts, Bug, got onto the left and drills it.
Here's another one that hasn't seen a lot of the footy, Thomas Bug. That's just possession number 9. But a very, very important goal. It looked like Carlton were going to mop it up, because when the two Melbourne players flew for the ball, Jack Watts, one of them, and Wiedemann, the other, there were no crummers at their feet, and Carlton mopped up, but then they made a hash of it. He just turns into traffic, Wiedering, and then a couple of fumbles. Petrarca couldn't pick it up. A couple of slick hand passes. Finally, Bug in a little bit of space, able to kick the goal, and that's what they needed, the D's.
And the sun shining again here at the MCG.
But still raining.
From the scramble, Phillips goes off the deck, a slippery deck. Jetta left it behind. Arnfield kicks it off the carpet. No in danger free. Oscar McDonald caught by Cruiser. Little toe by Wright. Got into the pocket. Sumner through Everett. Curnow centering ball to the square. Hits the deck. Graham outside of the boot.
Oh,
that's a ripper.
No, that's a great goal. Not only that, it was a really good front and square. He was just stationary. And if he had tried to attack the contest or went sideways, he would have missed the front and square. Have a look at his positioning here. Just treaded water, got low, got his hands on it, and just kicked the ball underneath the hands of the Melbourne players. That is a really clever goal. It's a good reply, isn't it? Because Melbourne got the first goal this third quarter.
Paul Roos a little perplexed.
Shake of the head. He knows they are a long way from their best. Can they find enough to run down the Blues? The Blues just look more desperate.
Gawn got a big palm on it. Tyson jumps in, but he went to ground, and it's in the congestion again. Curnow to Cripps, Arnfield, and he gets it to half forward. Casbolt jumps in, and the spill. Slap forward. Right, about to funnel onto it. Can he get there? He left it behind. Mitchie. Jetta. Jones. Tom McDonald. He's got Watts on the overlap.
Fairly quiet today, Jack Watts.
It's the Gawn at half forward. Good delivery.
Hogan deep, but can't get the ball moving that quickly.
He sits it up for Hogan's big leap. He's buffeted. Can he still go at it? Ball to the back. Neil Bullen about to track it down. Arnfield should get there first. Takes it out.
Really good support there from Wiedering. Rowe and Hogan competed with the ball, reading it.
So Matty Wright went over the ball and then just ran into Neville Jetta. Nothing Jetta could do. He overshot the ball right, and he's a little bit shaky getting up.
Tyson couldn't break away with it. Everett. It's an outside defensive 50. Casbolt and Cruiser went up. Hunt. He sends it back inside 50. Plowman.
The numbers on the switch here, Carlton.
Needs to be a good kick. Watts shut it down, and he held his ground brilliantly, Doherty. Misses right with the kick attempt. Jetta slips though. Back to Doherty. He wanted to get it and keep running. Mitchie cuts it off. Shorts it to half forward.
Oh, numbers everywhere.
Viney, Tyson. He's got time to spend it wisely. Sums it up.
Oh, no.
Gee whiz.
He should have went to the option. You had Kent, you had Jack Watts. Let's have a look at the options he had here.
Look at all the arms
right
waving.
Screen, yeah, you just had to go to Jack Watts.
Hard to miss all of those. You could have found 2 or 3 of those players.
Just kick the ball to space to Watts. He takes an easy chest mark.
Jones.
It's getting hard to handle.
Absolutely. Buckley. Curnow holding after he disposed of it, so it's Buckley's ball. They've met every challenge, the Blues. Demons have made a couple of runs at them. Still, there's 3 kick margin in it.
Just not sure they're playing well enough to find something to get over the Blues today.
Wiedering towards Casbolt. Good fist away, but it hits the deck. White couldn't break free with it.
So just the way the game's gone so far, it looks like Carlton have found their level of honesty and desperation, make a few errors, but they're going to give what they've given for 4 quarters. Whether Melbourne can lift.
There's the weather map there. The showers all day by Lewis. Passing in and out.
It's interesting just at the moment down at ground level, guys. It has stopped raining, so it may come in and out, but I don't think it's going to settle in as we thought.
Bug. Had a good piece of it, not enough of it. Dragged down. Cruiser missed his boot. Not that time. Straight into Gibbs. It ricochets. Doherty. And Hunt should gobble this up. In fact, he protects Bernie Vince. Jones didn't want it, but Bernie gave it to him anyway. It's untidy at the moment. Bug inside. Neil Bullen, not a lot to go to. Caught and gone. Had Pryor.
Yeah, he had Pryor, and that's a really good tackle there from Simpson. He's been one of the better players for Carlton today, Simpson.
Yeah, how many times do you say that? He just keeps on keeping on. He's playing again next year, Cade Simpson, Mr. Reliable. Wiedering to Arnfield. To Graham. He's got Phillips long. He thought about it. He goes inside to Curnow. And now in the Phillips direction. He's up. Got a palm on it. Knocked it down to right. Gone. Little fumble, and hasn't been his day either. And he feeds that handball inside to his detriment. High. Free kick to right.
Now, the issue for Melbourne is now becoming, if they concede another 2 or 3 goals, they're going to find it difficult to kick a big enough score to get over the top of the Blues, because goals aren't easy to come by. Melbourne have shown they're far from their best. They're not kicking accurately. The ball's greasy. They cannot afford to give away opportunities like this. And Carlton, if they can find a bit of accuracy, they can make life incredibly difficult for the D's.
It's got one. Carlton home game, so he gets a hush. Fans go silent, and he misses to the near side and doesn't even score. Brendan Bolton, who's looking to stop this horror run of 9 losses in a row. Must be said, 4 of those 9 losses by 2 goals or less, but they're losses nonetheless. He's pretty keen for a win today. Jones spears it.
Super kick. Super kick.
Brayshaw. Viney. And he hasn't had a massive day yet. And he turns it over. Wiedering. Simpson just bangs it forward. Didn't really look. Jetta couldn't quite trap it. Viney. Vince over his outstretched hand. Stretch. Caught by Gibbs. Trouble. Jones in the pocket. Opens it up. Top of the square. Oscar McDonald.
It's not a day for overuse of handball. It is too slippery. You need players with extra clearance to give the hand pass. Otherwise, you need to kick the ball.
Yeah, Jack Viney, he's had the 7 clearances, but his ball use today, he's gone 43% by foot.
Casbolt jumped in. Tyson had a chance, got it out in the end. Watts went to ground. That's
Dragged
trouble.
it in.
Yep,
He
it
dragged
has to be
it in.
trouble. Nope.
Well, the Carlton, adding Curnow now with the clearances. Gibbs 7, Curnow 5, Cripps 6. They've had 18 between them. Melbourne collectively only had 16. So 3 Carlton players. There's another clearance to Gibbs.
Cripps, he hits a good spot with that. Danger here again for Melbourne. Casbolt nearly crumbed it. Sidestep was okay in the end. Cunningham couldn't break his way clear though. Scrambled out. It'll be coming back. White to Cruiser. To Tui. Drives it out wide. Plowman. To Graham in the pocket. Half volley. Good collect. Centering kick. And a big fist. Crushes it out of play.
It's half a win for Carlton. Having a bounty throw in this area of the ground. And this is what Carlton were able to achieve on their run of 6 wins out of 7 under Brendan Bolton. They got forward entries and repeat entries. They're able to set up a really good wall about 70 metres out from goal.
Oh, big hit in the shoulder. Buckley knocked down. It was legal. Cripps, he's still down. Buckley.
Hasn't moved yet, Buckley.
Gee.
Umpire stalking it. Doesn't pay a free.
Oh, good house.
Buckley's still sore.
Well, it was
Winded him.
Buckley and McDonald, was it? A pretty heavy clash, the 2 of them.
Well, McDonald being a big lad. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, gee, we've
Clash of heads.
got one guy that's 110, 105 kilos and one 75. Yeah, the clash of heads.
The
He's in
tracker.
trouble.
Nicely through traffic. Can he hit a target
Great
though?
kick.
Hogan's out wide. And now they fanned for him inside. He's got a couple of options inside the square. Took some time. Wiedemann. Brayshaw. Little 1-2. Caught by Tui. Gets it inside 50. And good mark taken by White.
Well, it's because of Simpson being free. So, again, Melbourne go forward. They've always got Cade Simpson on their own, and that's why White was able to mark the ball.
But once again, it was overuse of handball by Melbourne. Forced a rush kick. Turnover.
Everett looks up. He's got Arnfield screaming. He's got Cripps
Cripps.
inside 50. It's a good kick. It's in his direction.
Oh,
Didn't
well
quite
done,
get there. McDonald dumps it to the line.
No, really good spoil for McDonald. Just it needed a bit more length on it there, Armfield. You see the kick here. Tried to caress it. He had to kick it, the ball even over Cripps' head to take McDonald out of the play. You would have much rather Cripps versus Jenner than Cripps versus McDonald on that occasion.
Cruiser crushes it down.
Great tap.
Little roller outside of the boot. Got plenty on it. Cunningham. Not enough.
He's tracking back to the goals, though. They're hanging by a thread at the moment, the D's.
Bernie Vince. Time running down on Melbourne to get their mojo back here and get their season back up and running. Gone to Jones. They lose today. Season over. Can't make the finals. Brayshaw bangs it. Kent. Simpson looked at him. Got the contact he was after. Keeps his feet. Wraps him up. Bugs got the handball over the top. Couldn't get it. Got a free.
Yeah, after the tackle.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah, there's a bit of spite.
Tui and Kent.
I had no idea why Dean Kent would get involved.
Well, all he can do now is give the ball away.
Yeah.
It's just silly. Get out of the road, Dean. All you can do is give the ball back to Carlton.
Every Carlton player ahead of him. Every Carlton player inside defensive 50. He centres it and Cruz is one of them. He's up. Almost knocked away by his own man. Gibbs, Jones, Neil Bullen.
Wasn't a great kick from Bug.
A lot of pushing and shoving off the ball. Melbourne are trying to use the body off the ball, but I'd suggest they just go hard at when the ball's there to be won, instead of worrying about this Tiggy Touchwood off the ball.
Cruiser down. Cunningham had it, lost it. Gibbs through traffic. Cripps again found a target. Thomas heads wide. Oscar McDonald in front of Arnfield is content to see it out. They're both in the end content to see it out.
Well, here's the free kick.
Well, it was just a high tackle.
Yeah,
One
but
arm went up over the shoulder.
He stayed on it, though. I think that was the umpire was saying. But there was Kent. Now, that, if he had stayed down Zach Tui, if he had staged at Zach Tui, and he don't want him to stage, he would have got the free. That's how silly the manoeuvre from Kent was.
The track at a stretch to Viney. Steps around White.
Oh, look at this.
And no one's home. Wiedering.
Well, they've guarded the goals beautifully today, Carlton. They've only kept Melbourne to 5 goals.
Simpson can go if he wants to. Curnow, always full of run. Just pokes it to Sumner. Didn't want to waste it.
He'll just hold up till, because when he looks forward, Melbourne got an extra, so he just needs to wait, try and get the extra half forward from Carlton to get forward to the ball.
Phillips, we jumped into the back of Jones. No mark. Curnow. Right. Curnow. Arnfield.
That'll do. But Casbolt deep. We know Dennis can kick a long goal. We saw him here about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Jace. Kicked 3 in the first quarter. He's going to back himself in to get the length, obviously, due to take a
He's a
great
long
kick
kick,
from here.
but with a heavy ball
Yeah.
in these conditions, it would take everything.
Well, he's had one crack at it from this area, as we can see. It's
Just doesn't, those stats don't take into account the conditions, though.
no, they don't.
And this would hurt if he nails it from 50. Starts it right. Won't make the distance. Cruiser got a big palm on it. Petraka tries to scramble it away. Wiedering got there first. Back inside, but he missed his pass target. Simpson mops it up. Shrugs the tackle. Spears it central. Petraka held.
Yeah, well done, Petraka. Really good gather from Simpson. Simpson would have been better just getting some yardage on that occasion with that kick instead of trying to pinpoint in these conditions.
Sits it on Kent's head, though. Daisy
Great
Thomas,
pick.
good pick on the move. And he floats his kick forward. Frost and Cruiser held his ground.
Yeah, beautiful grab. Liked his game today, Cruiser.
Well, he's up against the All-Australian ruckman. Max Gawn having a quiet day at the office, but he will be All-Australian this year. And Cruiser's beaten him so far. And he heads to the top of the square. Jones! You see it rarely, but it's good when you see it.
Well, he's just led from the goal line. Beautifully called, Dwayne. I think the kick was meant for Casbolt, but it was kicked on top of Casbolt's head. And we know Jones can attack the ball at times. This is a big kick in the scheme of things. 5 minutes left.
He marked everything in sight last week, Spud, but he missed one from here. He caused a critical turnover that resulted in a goal to the opposition.
Have a look at the set shot issue. I know it's a wet ball, but you just put it over the goal umpire's
Should not
hat.
miss.
Nice little 7-on.
Magnificent mark. Dangerous finish. But he slots it.
Again, it's those repeat entries. This quarter, Carlton 17 inside 50s to only Melbourne's 9. What a great grab. Beautiful mark from Liam Jones. As I said, the repeat entries eventually has put the Melbourne defence under extreme pressure. That's a beautiful grab in these conditions.
Good body work from Armfield on Oscar McDonald meant they didn't have a tall Bernie Vince, the only one flying in the air.
Here's an enigma. Liam Jones can win a game for you. And right now, the Blues have got the men forward that are threatening to steal this away from Melbourne. Were overwhelming favourites at the start of it.
Well, Melbourne need to kick double their goal scoring tally to get in front.
And they're away again. Cripps, who started it all, drives it long, blazed away. Frost gets back. And he takes off into trouble. Time is of the essence now, though. McDonald to Frost. They need to find a hero somewhere. That won't work. Graham. Tyson put the pressure on the kick. Oliver. Tyson with the look-away handball. Made it tough for Petrarca. And he's tracked out and tapped out.
Again, the Melbourne overuse, you can understand it, but I think at some stage Paul Roos might have to have a look at the extra, whether it's Simpson, Plowman, Doherty behind this clearance, because when they look up Melbourne, there's an extra Carlton player behind the ball.
It's only 24 points, but it feels a lot bigger than that in the league. Cruiser breaks away. Kicks a bomb. Casbolt held his ground. Oliver got the crumb. Petrarca, little juggle. And again, he's not confident of who he's going to. Simpson floats in. Ball gets to the back. Vandenberg tried to shrug. Got away from him. Held his ground. Sits it up for Hogan. Kent's inside. Neither got it. Tyson down to Kent. Still alive. Floats it to Hogan. Neil Bullen. Goal.
And they've still got a heartbeat. The D's, beautifully called, Dwayne. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. Just keeps them within striking distance just before three-quarter time, Melbourne. Really good play from Vandenberg out here in the flank. You can see the pressure here. And he just gets the ball. Looks like he's going to fall over just with the push and the fend off from Simpson. But great strength to get the ball going forward. Just contest here. The ball goes forward and Hogan just ducks out the back. The kick was probably meant for Bullen, but Hogan was aware that Bullen was running with the handball with support. So a much needed goals. We have a look at the league ladder as we can see it at the moment.
So they win this game. They'll be on 44 points, 4 off North Melbourne with 1 round left in the home and away season. And percentage will be a factor as well. But first things first, they've got to win this. Cunningham missed his target. Jetta stopped it but jumped on it. Got away with it.
And they're a long way from winning this game at the moment.
Yeah, they are, because again the clearance. Have a look at the right of screen here where they set up behind the ball. You see the Carlton deep player? I think it's Doherty on this occasion. He's on his own.
And yet they're not a long way away. 3 goals is the margin. Ton of time left. A toe off the carpet again. Tom McDonald. Tyson. This is the team that, oh, he's caught from behind. This is the team that beat Hawthorn 2 weeks ago here.
Yeah, and that's the frustration. Dom Tyson lamenting the fact that he looked up and he had nothing to kick to.
Brendan Bolton wrapped with the forward-line pressure today, though.
Jones sits it up. Everett and Gawn. Gawn clean missed it. So did Cripps out of the air. Rain starts falling again. McDonald only got one-on-ones ahead. He shorts to Hogan.
You love Hogan marking the ball in the half-back line.
Can they use it well enough? That's their problem.
2 minutes left. Vandenberg. And he takes off with Hunt running for him, but Hunt was shut down. Inside to Viney.
Again, they can't go long because Rowe is loose for Carlton at the moment on the right of screen.
They'd love to get one, but they don't want to concede one now either with 2 minutes left. Wide ball. Careful build up here. They look at the scoreboard. They know it's not going to be a long quarter. It's only 25 gone. Jones to Frost. Oh, and he fumbles it. Everett. Frost mops up his mess, takes off, runs through the middle, all part of the plan, but the barrel's horrible. And Rowe cuts it off.
Well, he's the extra. He's the extra behind the ball at the moment because Hogan's up the ground. So thought they have Hogan marking the ball around the wing, but Rowe just letting him go out there and just guard the forward 50.
But that inside 50 just about sums up Melbourne's day. A fumble from a chest mark, put under pressure by the fumble and mistake, and then a hurry kick inside 50 straight to the opposition.
Started to buck it down again, and Sumner found a gap where there wasn't one. Feeds it inside to Cruiser. He goes to Buckley. There's no one in the square. He could get it to run and roll. He doesn't need to run and roll.
What a goal.
He kicks it out of here.
Oh, what a great kick from Buckley. That's his third goal. This is worrying signs for Melbourne now as we have a look at the Rangers teaming down. Beautifully called, Dwayne. As a half forward, Buckley went off about 5 minutes ago with a head clash with Tom McDonald. He sized it up beautifully. He looked forward, there was no one on. He's kicked that from 55 off 3 steps. It's gone 60 metres.
That won't be denied, the Blues.
Look at that kick.
That's a beautiful kick at the footy.
He's kicked it 55 out and it's hit the fence, so it's gone 60 minutes. That is a
reaction. Well, what he does have, Spud, when he kicks the ball, he's got forward momentum because he's so quick. He's running fast.
And the Blues fans love a son of a gun. And that was a big-time goal with seconds left. Can they stop it here, though? Demons have a few seconds to get a quick reply. Squeezed into the middle. Jetta beelines it. Cunningham beelined him, and it's held up.
Well, you know, you've got no doubt Brendan Bolton and the Carlton players have set themselves for this game. And all the talk all week was Melbourne. They're still in the finals. There's those extras behind the ball again. They've got 2 now behind the ball, Carlton. So Brendan Bolton wants to go in at 3/4 time with this lead, which at the moment's a match-winning lead.
Tyson goes inside. Viney, Petraka, one late chance. Hunt puts the Jets on. He can kick a long ball. Heads to the square. Big float in by Watts. He left it behind. Buckley lends a hand in defence. Scrambles the kick away, and that'll do. Simpson gets it wide. And they've extended their lead, the Blues, at every change. From 14 to...
So the best way to do that is have some one-on-ones inside your forward 50 and hope. Put Watts down there with Hogan deep and hopefully get some run and carry from the midfield. But it starts in the middle of the ground again. The clearances where Carlton have been outstanding today. 35-20 in Carlton's favour.
The Blues looking to stop this 9-loss run with a victory of their own. Kent off the back of the square. He drills it to the top of the square. Didn't quite get there. And cut off with ease in the end by Doherty.
He's had a really good year, Doherty, hasn't he?
Rowe. Now Hunt floats in. Brings it down. Still a little wet out there, but the rain has stopped for now. The reach from Viney, couldn't quite get there. Lays a splendid tackle on Simpson, who had no prior. Then a good tackle on Curnow, gone.
Terrific effort. That's what you call a double effort.
And could it be a game changer? Viney to send them back inside 50.
His 8th tackle, Jack Viney.
Again hits the square. Gone! Hardly been sighted all day. Big last quarter will be handy for Melbourne fans.
Looked like he gave a decent shove to Andrew Phillips, but the umpire deemed it was okay. He's taken a mark. It's a good mark in the wet conditions. Can he finish off and give them the start that they need? This would give them hope.
Had a shot from here to finish the game in the win against the Hawks. Didn't quite hit a sweep. And missed. Same end, same spot. And he has snuck it in, only just by a whisker.
It's a perfect start, isn't it? All on the back of Jack Viney's 2 tackles on the far side, just the will. They needed someone, as Paul Roos talked about, at 3/4 time. And Viney, after getting the free kick, he just moved the ball, he had a look, he saw the one-on-ones. It was Wiedemann, it was Hogan, Watts on the lead. But Big Max Gawn has just floated down from the ruck. Just have a look at a slight push. It was hands in the back. They've just laid down the whistle on that one, the umpires, over the last 12 months. Much needed goal. The beauty of it, they didn't take long to do it. Only a minute and a half.
Every goal they've kicked has come from a turnover for the D's. All 7 of their goals from turnovers.
Still an enormous amount of time left. Gawn knocks it down, but Cripps read it to perfection.
Well, it's interesting, Cripps and Gibbs only had half a dozen possessions between the two of them in that third term after dominating the first half, but it was the rest of their teammates that carried the load.
Oscar McDonald gets it wide to Hogan, who's still yet to get his mojo back. Out of play.
Yeah, that could be dangerous for Melbourne though, Jace, because if Cripps and Gibbs get going again, with Cripps having 10 clearances, Gibbs 18 between them. Melbourne have only had 21 collectively.
Phillips side by side, got a palm back. Gibbs lays the tackle on Brayshaw, half hatched him. And there's that battle, Viney Cripps. From the wing. Again, Cripps was third man up, didn't get away with it. Gawn tried to back out of a jam. Newbullen jumps on it. Now he's jumped on. Umpire says he got it out, and he did just in time. Oscar McDonald a throw.
A double tap.
Umpire was in the right spot. Wrong spot for Oscar.
He was about to handball it and realised it was a Carlton jumper, not a Melbourne jumper.
Armfield to Gibbs.
Current disposal, number 30, Bryce Gibbs, after a pretty quiet third quarter with 26 in the first half.
Tui. Time in their favour as well. He launches. Casbolt's there. Phillips from 4 deep.
Well, Max Gawn looks on this time. He thought, well, if you can do it up one end, Max, I'll do it up this end. And
an even better mark, too.
It was a better mark. You see Max Gawn, he just didn't go. He just thought that the Carlton forwards were going to mark the ball. But when your direct opponent does it, and it's a really good fight back from Phillips.
What a great answer this would be to take the sting out of Melbourne's thoughts of a fight back or come back here in the fourth quarter if he can kick this.
He's had a good season. The pickups Carlton have grabbed from the Giants have really delivered.
It's normally a pretty good set shot.
Anything you can do, Maxie. I can do better.
Yeah, well, he's kicked 6 goals, 1 from set shots, so that's a really good goal. Just came straight back from injuries. He's the Gawn and Phillips up the other end. Now, there's
left
hands in the back.
in the middle of the back.
Yeah, the umpires, as I said, they need to adjudicate that. But have a look here. Max Gawn just gets blocked out by Liam Jones, and he just goes up and takes a beautiful mark. It's a great fight back from Phillips.
Last 5 goals have been goal for goal for goal. Every time the Demons get it within 3 goals, the Blues push it back out to 4. Phillips and Gawn go at it again. Curnow wrapped up, going nowhere, no Pryor. Secondary ball up. Of course, the Blues, they could finish their season strongly. They've got Essendon next week. If they win today, they could finish with 2 wins in a row. That'd be massive for Brendan Bolton. Petracca caught by Thomas. Outside of the boot kick didn't work. Armfield played for the 50. Melbourne fans let him know about it. Liam Jones, Oscar McDonald. It's it to ground. Good shot, Cunningham. To right. He's got Buckley inside. He goes longer. Bernie Vince.
Not sure why you wouldn't hit Buckley.
Yeah,
he was all on his own. Little lateral kick, then he has options.
And he's in form as well.
Well, it's just game sense as well, because Melbourne had an extra long, so he's always going to kick to an outnumbered situation. And yeah, if he has time again, he should have hit Buckley up.
Hunt gets a little bit of room for the first time in a while. Bounce on the slippery deck. Slips the kick to Max Gawn. He's got runners inside and a runner outside. He wanted Hunt. Gives it back to him. Will he launch it? He's got Wiedemann or he's got Bug. Big float in. The weed goes up. Couldn't bring it down. Hits the deck. Kent nearly tracked it. Now he lays a tackle. And from the scramble, the umpire might have to sort this out. It comes out somehow. Bug to weave some magic. He turns it over.
Not a real magical kick in the end, was it?
They've always had that wicket-keeper type play, haven't they, Carlton? Someone deep, north of 30 all day. On that occasion, it was Doherty.
Rowe thumps it back to the wing. Right back of the pack. Little nudge, but it was not enough for a free against. Gibbs showing some poise, the Blues. Heads to Plowman. Jones to shut him down. Great grab. Held his ground.
Wiedering run here.
Wiedering looks up, and he's got Buckley this time. Does he want him? Buckley screaming for it short. He's still on. Goes a little more inside, and it's cut off. Tyson gets away from Jones. Heads toward Hogan. Nothing forward. He has to wait for Vandenberg. And now Petrarca runs. And he waits a little longer.
Carlton have done extremely well behind the ball. They've set up. Melbourne just cannot kick the ball long.
Kent does.
Well, if they do, this is what will happen.
Straight to row. That is bizarre.
They've held their defence all day, Carlton. I can't believe the half forward from Melbourne don't go back and reset. They've just been lazy.
Clayton Oliver just lifted the arms and said, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you handball to me instead of the long kick to where they want you to kick it?
And it's good coaching too, because you can guard the lead now in these conditions. And yeah, they still want to score, Carlton, but they're going to deny Melbourne goal-scoring opportunities with holding their defence.
Well, Spud, we heard Roosie say at three-quarter time they wanted their spare man for ball movement. I think now's the time you need to win the game. You need to push that man down in there, get a one-on-one contest in your forward line.
Correct, mate.
Viney gets a chance after the turnover. Still a ton of time left. 4-goal margin. He heads long, and they've got the numbers, the Blues again. Although it's spilt. Rowe had a chance. Tyson, the sidestep, good. Bumped on the kick. It floats. It drifts. And Cruiser thumps it through.
There was not much Hogan to do on a 2-on-1. Really good play from Cruiser. Getting back as a ruckman should.
Plowman.
Ball.
Heads toward right, and Casbolt really had to moan to get there. Sits it up long. Cunningham. Hunt tries to shut him down. Good hands. He's got Liam Jones goal square. Thumps it into his direction. Jones up early through his grasp, and Bug knocks it through.
Well, time's the enemy too, so they're going to have to start being a little bit more direct, take some risks, the D's.
Been a bittersweet season for Melbourne. Had some great victories, but some horrific losses. Tore towards the boundary, and it's out of play. Of course, the loss to the Bombers, one of them. And this will hurt.
This will hurt, but on the flip side, it's been good for Carlton, as I said, a string of losses, 9. So it just gives them an area to say we have improved on last year. And Brennan Bolton, it's a big tick. So to get a good scalp like this late in the season.
Cruiser, nearly. Cripps off the deck. Tom McDonald. Hunt. Floats it wide. Oscar McDonald held up by Buckley. He's got Jetta out. Simpson about to crack him. Got a fist on it.
That's really good play. He ran 50 metres to let that spoil. And I know he's got to play next year. He's got 2 or 3 years left in him because he just reads the play so well. Have a look at him. He knew the ball was going there. He come off his man. Really good spoil.
He'll play next year as a 33-year-old.
He's probably had his best year, Dwayne, this year.
30's not old anymore.
No, it's not.
Arnfield.
The way the conditioning staff, the recovery, they get fit and just recover all week and make sure they're right to play.
No. Gawn went for Mitchie. Buckley misread it. Mitchie mops it up to Jetta. Straight down the spine, dangerous, but it might work. Bug takes off. He's got a Hogan long. He leads for him, Hogan. He's up, and he's got it.
Yeah, beautiful grab. Beautiful mark from Hogan. Really good kick. This is a big kick. They've still got a heartbeat, the D's. They've still got a heartbeat. But they need this. Simpson winning himself in that spoiling situation. He's still haunched over in the middle of the ground, Cade Simpson. Good second grab there from Hogan.
To bring it back to a 3-goal margin. Keeps it low and keeps it near side.
That hurts.
The heartbeat just flatlines, but they can't waste too many more opportunities.
Yeah,
4 straight kicks puts them in front, but that's conceding no more score.
Yeah, set shots, 2 goals, 6, Melbourne. Carlton, on the other hand, 5 goals for, so that's the difference. 3-goal lead.
Arnford tried to feed it out. Viney to Hunt. Centering kick. Petraka.
Right. You get another quick opportunity here to take it inside the 3 goals.
Because what it'll do, it'll sow the seed of doubt in Carlton's mind. They've dominated the game. They just need to kick this one, give themselves a little bit of a confidence, and
that's what Melbourne have got to do.
Yeah,
because if they get close enough to Carlton, the Blues will get nervous. That happens when you've lost 9 in a row, and as Dwayne said, 4 of them by less than 2 goals, losing the tight ones, you start to worry. But so far, Melbourne haven't been able to get close enough to worry them.
He kicks this, there'll be 3 kicks from the lead.
Oh, no.
2 goals, 7 now from set shots.
They certainly don't deserve to win.
No.
With the way they've played, the way they've kicked, and I think that man there knows it.
Yeah. Ruzzi can't kick it for him.
Cruiser sets himself. Oscar McDonald from behind, thumped it down. Frost caught and he dropped it. All the answers, the Blues. For a team that's lost its last 9 games in a row, they came out and made a statement from the opening minute today, and Bolton making some statements of his own from the bench, the coach.
Yeah, just wants to manage things over the closing minutes, probably mindful of those close finishes that they have had.
It's theirs to lose now. 22 points the margin, 9.5 minutes left. First season as coach, former Hawthorn assistant, fill-in coach, of course, had the 5 wins for the Hawks to set up his future as a coach. Cripps got his arms free with strength. Graham feeds it back. Neil Bullen, Viney, Corral, caught. Oliver, Watts flicks it inside. They're out. Tyson to Bug. Neil Bullen thought about Tyson again. Kent's the one. He's in a 1-on-2. Used his body and plucked away from him by Wiedering.
Well, there's the extra again. Cam Mooney talked about it a couple of minutes ago. You just can't win a game of footy with kicking the ball long to 2-on-1.
Buckley.
The odds are stacked in Carlton's favour, and they're just going to hold their defence all day now, Carlton. It's up to the midfield of Melbourne to try and run and penetrate and get through the extra player.
Heads in the Phillips direction. Hits the deck. Mitchie back. The 1-2. No one to go to. Hogan caught by White. Feeds it back to Oscar McDonald. Little poke pass is good. Oliver. But time keeps ticking. Tyson. And he drills it to the leading player. Wiedering just got a fingernail on it. Wiedemann was about to pounce. Hogan. Oliver. Bumped by Cruiser. Neil Bullen through traffic. Hard attack. Free kick. Doherty.
Been desperate when it's really mattered today. The Blues have been there. They've been on the ball. They've put the body in line. They've won the free kicks. They've won the contested possessions.
Gibbs, who helped set it up with that enormous first half. He and Cripps just owned the Sherrin. Thomas, who plays his big milestone game next week, gives it off. Everett back into the lineup, can't jump. Casbolt does. Graham slung 360, no free. Melbourne fans think they've had a raw deal this afternoon. Carlton's made their own luck.
Yeah, they have. And as you said, it's on the back of Gibbs and Cripps. 19 clearances between them. That's a dominant display. Melbourne would have gone into this game thinking we're going to win the clearances. We've got our scoring from clearances, 70 points. The last 2 games dried right up to date.
Thomas scrambled it forward. Phillips manhandled his man out of it. Buckley was looking for a 4th. Viney inside.
Gee, some of the handballs under pressure have been poor, haven't they?
Thomas kick out wide to right. Couldn't get there in time. But they'll take that, the Blues. Ball in forward pocket. 7 minutes left. 22-point lead.
There's the Curnow injury.
Just the leg trapped underneath him. Foot underneath the body.
Bernie Vince straight up in the air. Gibbs jumps into it. Viney gets it towards the wing. Rowe. Hogan from behind. Wiedemann gets it to Kent, but there's nothing forward. Had to go lateral. Neil Bullen. Mitchie's there for him for the handball if he wants it. He thought about it. He goes longer. Petrarca overcooked the pass. Wiedering taps it out. Petrarca off the deck.
Oh, hit the post.
Hit the post.
That would have been inspirational, and he hit the post as well.
He hit the back of the post as well. That's nearly a miraculous goal made out of nothing. Have a look at this. Just improvising,
Quick thinking,
kicking
wasn't
it out of the air. Just hits the back of the padding.
And it's been that kind of day for the D's.
Just to give you an indication of Carlton attacking Melbourne's strength, scores from clearances. They've averaged 35 points a game, Melbourne, the last 2 weeks from clearances. They've only scored 4 points from clearances today, yet Carlton have scored 44 points. So they've really attacked their strength and made it their strength.
Ducked into that. Yeah, spot on spot. Still some life here from Melbourne. But they need a hero, and they need one in a hurry.
Yeah.
Viney just spanks it up in hope. Big fist from Kent. Oscar McDonald. Mitchie. Heads inside. They've got the numbers, and Simpson, well, he fumbles it. Hits the deck. Rare mistake. Jones jumps in. He's jumped on. Ball up.
Yeah, they've done enough now. You just can't see Melbourne kicking 4 goals in under 5.5 minutes.
Simpson knocked away, still alive. Jones, a fumble from the captain. Still a chance for Tyson. He couldn't get it. Just stumped away by Doherty. Jetta tried to trap it. Cruiser bumped out of it. Jetta still a chance. Shorts it to half forward.
Gee, he was about to run into an open goal, Nathan Jones.
Stretch goes wide.
They can't take it.
Hogan on the lead.
And the short pass to Hogan. Well, he's been a hero before, but he certainly hasn't been today.
Yeah,
Trying to pinch a bit of angle.
Yeah.
The umpire's not going to have any of that.
He just can't, I know they want to take their 23 or 24 seconds now, but he just needs to get back quickly and kick this. Taking valuable time off the clock.
Tough kick, tough angle.
Less than 50% chance of kicking it from there.
41,000 here, hold their breath. Couple of stutter steps. Keeps it low, and that is the tale of their day and his day and his month.
No, it certainly is. 2 goals, 8 now from set shots, so that's a worrying sign. Even though they don't deserve to get in front, yet when you do get your opportunity, they haven't been able to nail them.
Simpson to Cruiser. Gee, slipped there, Cruz. Hopefully he's okay. Through traffic, Jones. Arnfield's away.
It's a good race.
Chased down by Hunt. Scrambles it off the deck. Slippery deck at that. Stretch got it from Oscar McDonald to Mitchie, who's in a paddock. Hogan's the long option. He's up and brings it to ground. Spears it towards Vandenberg, and he turns it over. And Simpson holds it up and says, let's take 30 seconds off the clock here.
Well, he's just like a quarterback, isn't he, Simpson?
Yeah, hold possession. Show some cool heads. And take some time off the clock now. And it's done.
They have played into Carlton's hands, Spud. They've given them everything they've wanted, haven't they?
They have. And 19 marks from opposition kicks that mark Carlton. And more than 13 of those are from defenders. And you look at the names, you've got Simpson, Doherty, Wiedering, Rowe. They've all had intercept marks because they've had that extra behind the ball.
Phillips sees it to the line. Matthew Cruiser again has shown that 2017 might be even better than 2016 for a player who's been injured so much of his career.
That's a good sign. Ed Curran, a bit of strapping on the knee, but up and about, ready to go again.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dwayne, with Cruiser. The last 4 or 5 years have just been nearly a write-off for the big fella, but to play 21 games this year with another pre-season under his belt and with the form of this young fella by his side in Cripps there, can expect some real improvement again next year, Carlton.
Jones from 3 deep.
Gee, he can leap, can't he?
There's one thing they've been able to do, and Brendan Bolton's coached extremely well today. He ticks a lot of boxes on his coaching against Paul Roos and the Melbourne Footy Club today.
He sits it up in hope. Cruiser gone, they're all there, the big fists come up. Gave it off, did the Cruz. Gave it to Wright. Thomas in the pocket. Graham to bend it around. 2.5 minutes left.
Because they've been able to bounce back. They probably come off their worst defeat last week against Brisbane, and a lot of people say, oh, well, they've put their cue in the rack, they're just going to limp into the pre-season. But to have a scalp such as this, because they've basically put an end to Melbourne's season.
Certainly have done that. Simpson about to send it back inside 50. Keeps it short. Dubbed away from Wright. That didn't roll out. He's kicked that out after. That didn't roll out. He just towed it out. Even the Melbourne players now know they're cooked. Gawn jumps in, good grab. North Melbourne will play finals in 2016. Big sigh of relief at Arden Street after this.
Yes, they'll sleep a bit better tonight, Dwayne, because they would have had to wait till next Saturday if Melbourne had won this when they played Geelong down here. But it's a nothing game now, dead rubber.
Petrarca, and he sprays it wide, and that is so bizarre to see from a player with pretty good skills. They've had their chances. 7-15 and a couple of out of plays on the full. Thomas jumps in and it's crushed out.
Yeah, they've had 53 entries. And I think that's the thing that Brendan Bolton will take into it. They've had enough opportunities, and it's probably been that extra player behind the ball, and they look up, and yeah, but when they've got their opportunities to nail them, they've just have been able to nail them.
Gone with a flick back. Tracker looks up, didn't have anything. Jones slaps it down. Mitchie. Maxi. Top of the square. Watts down there. Again, hasn't seen a lot of it today, Jack Watts. Almost stolen back by Kent. Almost high. No free. Umpires put the whistle away for a few seconds. Cripps almost turned it over. Watts backs out of a jam. Gave it up just in time. Stripped. Vandenberg thumps it away. We're down to a minute. It's been untidy. It's been untidy all day. Jones goes central. Stretch. Launches from 50. And he misses.
Well, the season certainly hasn't been a whitewash for Melbourne.
No, it hasn't.
The fact is, they may have stolen a finals berth.
No.
Probably wouldn't have done a lot in the finals, but they've got themselves in a position where they now know what they're capable of, what they need to take that next step, that one extra step. They should be well prepared to hit 2017.
And I'm sure Carlton fans are saying after this, we're just as much a contender for the finals next year as you are. Oliver goes back. McDonald caught, flicks it. Maybe one last chance for Buckley. Can't pick it up. 10 seconds left.
Well done, Gibbs.
Gibbs went low. Buckley caught, hunted down from behind. Oliver sprays it wide. But after 9 losses in a row, the Blues are back on the winners list. And Melbourne's dream is over. .20 win to Carlton. Melbourne, which kept its season alive with 3 wins in a row coming into this, will now have to watch on in September. And Paul Roux now resigned to the fact that this is his second last game as an AFL coach.
He'll be disappointed with the performance, but we take nothing away from the Blues. They came here from the first bounce, desperate, applying a lot of pressure, intent on having a red-hot go from start to finish. They played 4 quarters of effort. Let's go.